Over 5 million Americans are already living abroad, and that number climbs higher every single year. Why? Because the American dream now comes with a hefty price tag. Rent in major U.S. cities rivals luxury resorts, healthcare bills feel like ransom notes, and work culture often demands 60 hours a week just to stay afloat. People are starting to ask deep question. Is there somewhere else where life is cheaper, healthier, and less stressful? Spoiler alert, yes, there is. Welcome to Across the United States. In today's video, top 10 best countries Americans can move to. We're exploring destinations where Americans are finding a better quality of life. Whether you're a young graduate chasing career opportunities, a family looking for safety and community, or a retiree dreaming of sunshine and affordable healthcare, this list has something for you. We'll cover places with lower costs of living, thriving expat communities, job markets that welcome international talent, places that are safe, and visa options that actually make sense. Some of these countries may surprise you, others may already be on your bucket list, but all of them prove that the world has better deals than what you're used to. So which country offers the biggest upgrade to your lifestyle? Stick with me until the very end, because the number one spot isn't just beautiful, it could completely change how you see your future. Go ahead and hit like, share where you'd move in the comments, and subscribe to Across the United States for more videos on where to relocate. Done? Let's get started. Number 10. Portugal. Imagine swapping your $6 Starbucks habit for a glass of wine that costs less than a bottle of water. That's not a fantasy, it's Tuesday night in Portugal. This isn't just a country that looks like a postcard, it's one of the most affordable and welcoming destinations for Americans looking to relocate. On average, the cost of living is about 30% lower than in the US, and that includes housing, food, and even healthcare. You get old-world charm without draining your 401k. But affordability isn't the only thing Portugal has going for it. The job market is quietly heating up, especially in tech and remote work. Lisbon has earned the nickname Europe's Silicon Valley Light, with international startups setting up shop and creating opportunities for young professionals. If you're into software development, digital marketing, design, or even customer service roles, Portugal has options. For freelancers and remote workers, co-working spaces are everywhere, and the internet is fast enough to keep your boss in New York happy while you're sipping espresso by the Tagus River. Families thinking of relocating can breathe easy too. Portugal consistently ranks as one of the safest countries in the world. Low crime, friendly locals, and a community-oriented vibe that makes raising kids less stressful. International schools are available in Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve, making the transition easier if your kids don't speak Portuguese yet. And speaking of Portuguese, while learning the language will definitely earn you points with locals, English is widely spoken, especially among younger generations and in major cities. Retirees might find Portugal especially appealing. Healthcare here is not just affordable, it's top quality. Public healthcare is accessible, and private insurance can cost as little as $50 a month. Compare that with the US, where healthcare can feel like a second mortgage, and you'll see why so many Americans are choosing Portugal for their golden years. There's also the D7 visa, perfect for retirees or remote workers with a steady income, that opens the door to long-term residency. Culturally, Portugal delivers more than you'll ever have time for. From fado music in Alfama to surfing in Nazaré, it's a country that blends tradition with adventure. Nightlife in Lisbon and Porto keeps young grads entertained, while the slower pace of smaller towns like Coimbra or Braga is perfect if you're craving calm. So could you survive without peanut butter if your mornings started with fresh pastel de nata and coffee overlooking the Atlantic? Number 9. Costa Rica. Ever wished your alarm clock was a chorus of howler monkeys instead of the dreaded email ping? In Costa Rica, that's not just a daydream, it's daily life. This Central American paradise is all about pura vida, the pure life. And no, that's not just a catchy slogan, it's a way of living. Costa Rica consistently ranks as one of the happiest countries in the world, and once you see the mix of lush jungles, stunning beaches, and a culture that prioritizes wellness, it's easy to understand why. For retirees, Costa Rica is basically financial magic. Stretching a pension here is simple. The cost of living is about 40% lower than in the US, and healthcare is one of the best in Latin America. Both public and private healthcare are affordable and high quality. Retirees often say the only stress is deciding whether to spend the afternoon at the beach, the mountains, or in a hammock with a mojito. Tough life, right? But Costa Rica isn't just for retirees. It's quickly becoming a hotspot for remote workers and young professionals. With the government's digital nomad visa, foreigners earning steady income abroad can live here for up to 2 years while working remotely. Imagine swapping your cubicle view for palm trees and a fresh coconut by your laptop. Reliable internet in most urban areas makes that possible. Plus, cities like San Jose and Escazú are developing tech and finance sectors, so opportunities exist if you want something beyond remote freelancing. Ecotourism and English teaching are also thriving industries for expats looking to work locally. Families considering the move won't be disappointed either. Costa Rica is politically stable, democratic, and one of the safest countries in the region. Education is strong, and private bilingual schools are available for those who want a smooth transition for their kids. And when school is out, picture weekends hiking to waterfalls, spotting toucans, or learning to surf on the Pacific coast. It's a lifestyle where the outdoors becomes your family room. Culturally, Costa Ricans, known as ticos, are warm, welcoming, and laid back. The pace of life slows down, which might be a shock to American hustle culture, but most expats find it refreshing. And let's not forget, Costa Rica runs on 99% renewable energy, making it a dream destination for eco-conscious movers. So let's settle this. Would you rather keep character-building blizzards in Buffalo, or wake up to endless sunshine, monkeys, and mango trees in your backyard? Number 8. New Zealand. If you've ever cursed at traffic on I-405, New Zealand will have you laughing. Because here, sheep literally outnumber people by about 5 to 1. Yes, you read that right. While you're stuck in gridlock back in Los Angeles, Kiwis are more likely to be waiting for a flock to cross the road. This country is equal parts jaw-dropping scenery and chilled-out lifestyle. Think glaciers, beaches, mountains, and rolling green hills all crammed into one compact paradise. Of course, New Zealand isn't just pretty faces and sheep memes. It consistently ranks high in quality of life thanks to world-class healthcare, low crime, and a government that's actually trusted by its people. Imagine that. Families especially love it here because the school system is strong, safe, and forward-thinking. Kids get an education that doesn't just shove them into standardized testing, but actually encourages creativity and outdoor learning. Plus, recess often looks more like hiking trails and rugby matches. Retirees can breathe easy too. Healthcare is publicly funded and widely praised, and the pace of life is slower, especially in smaller towns like Nelson or Napier. That means more time for wine tours, fishing trips, and not worrying about medical bills piling up like in the US. But what about jobs? Well, New Zealand's economy thrives on agriculture, healthcare, IT, and engineering. The government actively recruits skilled workers, especially in nursing, construction, and tech roles. If you're a young graduate with skills in those areas, New Zealand practically rolls out the welcome mat. Remote work is also increasingly popular. Major cities like Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch have strong internet and co-working hubs, so you can freelance while soaking up views that look like movie backdrops. And yes, The Lord of the Rings was filmed here, so bragging rights are included. For the adventurous, this is basically Disneyland without the lines. Surfing, skiing, bungee jumping, hiking. Pick your thrill. Young professionals love the balance of work and play. The culture here values downtime, and employers actually expect you to use your vacation days. Shocking, I know. Sure, it's on the other side of the planet from the US, which means flights back home aren't quick or cheap. But once you're here, you realize the trade-off is worth it. Clean air, stunning views, friendly people, and a sense of peace you don't always find in bigger countries. How long before you'd start saying bro at the end of every sentence, and actually pulling it off? Number 7. Spain. Imagine walking away from the US grind culture, where lunch breaks barely exist, and embracing a world where daily siestas are practically sacred. That's Spain for you. Sunshine nearly year-round, Mediterranean food that cardiologists dream about, and public transport so cheap you'll laugh every time you tap your Metro card. Rent in Madrid, about half of what you'd pay in New York, and you still get a European capital full of history, nightlife, and churros on every corner. Retirees absolutely love it here. Spain's healthcare system is ranked among the best in the world, and unlike the US, it won't drain your retirement savings. Private insurance is affordable too, so you can have peace of mind without sacrificing your sangria budget. And thanks to Spain's golden visa and non-lucrative visa, retirees and those with steady passive income can stay long-term without much hassle. Families also find Spain hard to beat. Communities are tight-knit, kids grow up playing soccer in the plazas instead of glued to screens, and the culture places a strong emphasis on family life. Education is widely accessible, with international schools available in major cities for English-speaking kids. Weekends? Picture family trips to castles, beaches, or mountain hikes, all just a short train ride away. But what about jobs? Spain's economy is bouncing back with opportunities in technology, renewable energy, and tourism. Barcelona is a booming tech hub, attracting startups and international companies alike. Madrid's financial sector is strong, and Seville is growing in green energy projects. English teachers are always in demand, making it a solid entry point for younger Americans looking for work abroad. And if you're a digital nomad? Spain's new digital nomad visa allows remote workers to live in the country while earning income from abroad, perfect for those who prefer their Zoom calls with tapas on the side. Culturally, Spain offers something for every pace of life. Night owls will love the nightlife that stretches until sunrise, foodies will get lost in tapas bars, and history buffs will never tire of Roman ruins and Gothic cathedrals. Yet, despite the excitement, the overall lifestyle is slower and more balanced. People genuinely make time for family, friends, and yes, those long lunches that Americans can only dream about. If you knew your rent in Madrid was half of what it costs in New York, would you still be clinging to your bagels? Or would you finally give in to churros dipped in rich hot chocolate? Number 6. Thailand. Picture this. You hand over $3, and instead of a sad fast food burger, you're presented with a steaming plate of pad thai that tastes like pure happiness. Welcome to Thailand, where delicious street food is cheaper than a cup of coffee back home, and scooters double as your Uber ride to the beach. For anyone sick of overpriced rent and endless bills, Thailand feels like a financial miracle wrapped in tropical sunshine. Bangkok is the chaotic, buzzing capital, packed with skyscrapers, night markets, and some of the world's best street food. It's noisy, fast, and full of energy. But if city madness isn't your style, Chiang Mai offers a calmer vibe with a massive expat community, tons of co-working spaces, and internet fast enough for all your Zoom calls. Down south, islands like Phuket and Koh Samui are basically work-from-beach fantasies come true. For retirees, Thailand is an easy win. Healthcare here is world-class yet shockingly affordable. You can walk into a private hospital in Bangkok, see an English-speaking doctor, and pay a fraction of US costs. No insurance panic attacks required. The Thai government even offers a retirement visa for those 50 and older, making long-term stays simple. Families aren't left out either. International schools are everywhere in major cities, so kids can get a high-quality education in English while still soaking up Thai culture. Plus, family life here is safe, affordable, and filled with weekend adventures to temples, national parks, and beaches that look like screensavers. Now let's talk work. Thailand is a global magnet for digital nomads. Chiang Mai especially has earned its title as the nomad capital of the world, thanks to cheap living costs, strong Wi-Fi, and communities of freelancers and entrepreneurs. For those looking for local jobs, opportunities exist in teaching English, hospitality, and tourism, although work permits are required. Tech and e-commerce are also on the rise, and Bangkok has a growing startup scene. Just don't expect Silicon Valley salaries. The trade-off is that your monthly expenses can drop by 60% or more compared to the US. Of course, paradise comes with fine print. Visa rules can be a little tricky. There are tourist visas, education visas, work permits, and long-stay options for retirees or remote workers. But most expats agree the effort is worth it once you're sipping a smoothie on a balcony overlooking the ocean. So tell me this. If you could slash your monthly expenses by more than half, live surrounded by beaches and temples, and swap your commute for a scooter ride, What excuse would you honestly have left for not moving? If you're still with us, thank you for sticking around. Now's the perfect time to quickly like and subscribe if you haven't. Trust me, the top 5 will surprise you. Number 5. Germany. Imagine packing your bags, moving to Europe, and suddenly realizing college tuition is free, even for foreigners. That's Germany for you. Of course, the country is famous for bratwurst, Oktoberfest, and precision engineering, but it's also one of the most powerful economies on the planet. Infrastructure, impeccable. Public transportation, reliable enough to make you cry if you've ever dealt with Amtrak delays. Add in universal healthcare and some of the strongest worker protections in the world, and Germany starts looking like a dream relocation spot. Retirees might hesitate when they see the taxes. Yes, Germany's tax rates can feel heavy. But here's the trade-off. Top quality healthcare and social services that actually deliver. You won't be buried under medical debt, and pharmacies are around every corner. The pace of life in smaller towns like Heidelberg or Freiburg is peaceful, while big cities like Munich and Hamburg mix culture with efficiency. Families, they've got it good here. Germany consistently ranks as one of the safest places to live. Schools are well funded, and kids grow up learning multiple languages. Public schools are strong, and there are also international schools in most cities if you want an English-based curriculum. Parks, playgrounds, and family-friendly festivals are built into everyday life, so weekends feel less like a rat race and more like quality time. Now for the young graduates and professionals, this is where Germany really shines. Berlin has turned into Europe's startup capital, full of opportunities in tech, design, and digital marketing. Munich and Stuttgart dominate in engineering and automotive industries, thanks to global giants like BMW and Mercedes-Benz. Frankfurt is Europe's financial hub, offering careers in banking and fintech. And let's not forget healthcare and skilled trades. Germany is actively recruiting workers from abroad to fill shortages in these fields. If you've got the skills, there's a good chance Germany has a spot for you. Salaries are competitive, and the work-life balance is enviable. Vacation days are mandatory, and people actually use them. For digital nomads, Germany is also attractive thanks to strong internet, countless co-working spaces, and the possibility of long-stay visas. Just imagine working on your laptop in a Berlin cafe, surrounded by history, art, and a mix of cultures that makes the city buzz day and night. Of course, nothing's perfect. You'll need to get used to stores closing on Sundays, which can feel like the apocalypse if you forgot to buy groceries. But then again, maybe that's Germany's way of reminding everyone to slow down. Tell me, do you think you'd adapt to quiet Sundays in Germany, or would the Amazon Prime withdrawals send you running back home? Number 4. Mexico. Forget every outdated stereotype you've ever heard. Mexico has quietly become one of the most popular destinations for American expats. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. Imagine slashing your living expenses by nearly 60% compared to what you pay in the US. Rent, food, healthcare, everything suddenly feels affordable. That beachfront apartment that costs a fortune in California? In Mexico, you can get the same view for the price of a cramped US studio. For retirees, Mexico is basically paradise with benefits. The healthcare system here is both affordable and high quality. Many doctors are US trained, and private health insurance often costs just a fraction of what you'd pay back home. Add in the year-round warm climate, endless cultural festivals, and walkable towns, and you'll quickly see why so many retirees trade in snow shovels for sandals. Families also find Mexico surprisingly perfect for raising kids. Communities are vibrant and family-oriented, with plazas and parks serving as neighborhood gathering spots. International schools in cities like Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey make the transition smoother for children who aren't fluent in Spanish yet. Plus, weekend getaways to the beach, ruins, or mountain towns are just part of the lifestyle. Now for the younger professionals, Mexico is a hot spot for remote work. Thanks to its proximity to the US, the time zones align perfectly for Zoom meetings with your American colleagues. Cities like Playa del Carmen, Tulum, and Mexico City have booming digital nomad communities, complete with co-working spaces, fast internet, and yes, plenty of tacos to fuel those late-night deadlines. Mexico also offers temporary residency permits, making it easier to stay long-term if you've got steady income from abroad. But what about actual job opportunities on the ground? Mexico's economy is diverse, and sectors like manufacturing, automotive, tech, and tourism are always in need of skilled workers. English teachers are consistently in demand, especially in urban areas. And with the rise of nearshoring, U.S. companies moving operations closer to home, Mexico is seeing steady growth in industries like IT, logistics, and customer support. If you've got skills in those fields, you'll find doors opening. Of course, no place is perfect. Some regions deal with safety concerns, but most expats choose stable, well-established communities like Mérida, Querétaro, and San Miguel de Allende, where quality of life is high, crime is low, and the culture is incredibly rich. So here's the question. If you could live in a colorful beach town for the price of a tiny US apartment, would you still complain about rent, or would you finally say adios to overpriced living? Number 3. Canada. Yes, moving abroad might just mean heading upstairs. Canada, America's northern neighbor, offers a life that feels familiar yet refreshingly different. Think free healthcare, diverse cities, and a polite society that somehow runs smoothly without the constant political fireworks. It's no wonder so many Americans are choosing to cross the border, not just for vacation, but for a brand new life. For families, Canada is a dream. Education here is top-notch, with public schools ranked among the best in the world, and universities like McGill, Toronto, and British Columbia consistently pulling international recognition. Communities are multicultural and family-friendly, with safe neighborhoods, plenty of green spaces, and healthcare that doesn't send you into debt every time your kid catches the flu. Retirees also find Canada appealing for its stability and quality of life. The healthcare system, though not perfect, is accessible and affordable, removing the biggest financial stress most American retirees face. Add in peaceful small towns, national parks that look like postcards, and a strong pension system, and you've got a retirement spot that feels both comfortable and secure. The biggest challenge? Braving those brutal winters. Snow shoveling may quickly become your new daily cardio. Now let's talk about jobs. Canada's economy is strong and diverse, and the government actively recruits skilled workers to fill labor shortages. Healthcare, IT, engineering, and skilled trades are especially in demand. Cities like Toronto and Vancouver are major financial and tech hubs, while Calgary and Edmonton offer opportunities in energy and engineering. Montreal has a booming gaming and design industry, making it attractive for creatives. Salaries are competitive, and unlike in the US, you'll actually be encouraged to use your vacation days, because work-life balance is taken seriously here. For remote workers, Canada is equally appealing. Reliable internet, countless co-working spaces, and a time zone that works for both American and European clients make it a prime spot for freelancers. Plus, if you're living in a place like Vancouver or Montreal, your after-work activities could be skiing, hiking, or eating your way through some of the best food scenes in North America. Of course, no place is perfect. Winters can be brutal. Housing in big cities is expensive, and healthcare wait times can be frustrating. But for many Americans, these are small trade-offs compared to stability, safety, and a country that feels both familiar and refreshingly different. So here's the big question. Would you swap American chaos for Canadian calm, even if it means spending half the year in a snow jacket? Number 2. Australia. Think of Australia as America's more relaxed cousin. The one who shows up to Thanksgiving barefoot, carrying a surfboard, and still manages to have their life completely together. Same language, sunnier beaches, and kangaroos casually hopping across the road instead of deer. But beyond the quirky wildlife and enviable weather, Australia offers one of the highest standards of living in the world. For retirees, it's a dream. Coastal towns like the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, or Byron Bay attract those looking for slower days filled with ocean breezes and laid-back living. The healthcare system, Medicare, is top-tier and accessible, making retirement less stressful on the wallet. Add in political stability, low crime rates, and a culture that values work-life balance, and it's easy to see why so many retirees happily trade their snow shovels for sunscreen. Families also rave about Australia. The school system consistently ranks high, with plenty of options for both public and private education. Neighborhoods are safe, community-oriented and filled with parks, playgrounds, and open spaces. On weekends, kids aren't glued to screens, they're outdoors swimming, hiking, or learning to surf. Not to mention, Australia is one of the most multicultural countries in the world, meaning your kids will grow up in a diverse and welcoming environment. Young professionals, though, might get the best deal of all. Sydney and Melbourne are thriving global cities with strong economies, home to industries like tech, finance, healthcare, and creative arts. Perth and Brisbane also offer plenty of opportunities, especially in mining, engineering, and energy. And thanks to Australia's strong labor protections, you won't just be working, you'll be living. Overtime isn't glorified here, and taking your vacation days is the norm, not a guilty pleasure. Of course, remote workers and digital nomads haven't overlooked Australia either. With fast internet, vibrant co-working spaces, and time zones that connect Asia and the West, it's a sweet spot for global freelancers. Plus, where else can you literally start your Monday morning with a surf session before hopping on a Zoom call? Now, here's the catch. Australia isn't cheap. Sydney and Melbourne consistently rank among the most expensive cities in the world, especially when it comes to housing. Groceries and dining out will also test your budget. But many expats argue the quality of life more than justifies the higher price tag. So the question is, if Mondays began with ocean waves instead of commuter traffic, would you still complain about the Sunday scaries? Number 1. Italy. The dream, sipping espresso in a sun-drenched piazza while your inbox politely waits its turn. That's Italy in a nutshell. Life lived at a pace that makes American hustle culture look like a bad joke. And it's not just the scenery or the food that earns Italy a top spot. It's the whole package. History, art, jaw-dropping architecture, and meals that make Olive Garden seem like a cafeteria. For retirees, Italy is the golden ticket. Small towns in regions like Umbria, Puglia, or Sicily offer affordable housing, slower living, and a community spirit that makes every day feel like a festival. And the healthcare? Solid, accessible, and far cheaper than what retirees face in the US. Imagine stretching your savings while enjoying Mediterranean weather, daily farmers markets, and of course, endless pasta. It's the kind of retirement dream where the biggest stress is deciding whether tonight's wine should be red or white. Families thrive in Italy's welcoming environment. The culture places a huge emphasis on family, and kids are celebrated, not just tolerated. Communities are tight-knit, schools are strong, and safety levels in many towns give parents peace of mind. Plus, weekends can mean road trips to the beach, the Alps, or ancient ruins, basically turning history lessons into family outings. Now, young professionals and creatives, this is where Italy shines in a different light. Cities like Milan, Florence, and Rome are buzzing with opportunities in fashion, design, art, and tourism. Milan is Europe's financial and fashion powerhouse, while Florence is basically a living museum that attracts designers, writers, and entrepreneurs looking for inspiration. Remote workers are also discovering Italy thanks to improved internet in urban areas and co-working spaces, popping up even in smaller towns. And let's be honest, if your office view includes cobblestone streets and Renaissance churches, you might actually look forward to Monday meetings. But it's not just about work, it's about lifestyle. Italy takes the concept of work-life balance and turns it into an art form. Long lunches, evening passeggiatas, that's a leisurely stroll, not a fitness trend, and an entire culture that believes food and connection are priorities, not afterthoughts. The trade-off? Bureaucracy can be maddening, and big cities like Rome and Milan aren't cheap. Still, most expats argue that the quality of life makes the hassles worth it. So, could you trade in the grind of 60-hour American work weeks for a life where 2-hour lunches are perfectly normal, and nobody apologizes for them? And that's the countdown. Now picture yourself actually living in one of these places. Pretty tempting, right? Tell me your top pick in the comments. Hit like and subscribe to Across the United States for more guides to life abroad.